Hello guys, and welcome to another one of my soda dungeon videos. So, Tengen times really, and I'm at level 7700 in the game, at least when I recorded this compilation, where I just lost to Tengen pretty much on autopilot with my all dark mage group that pretty much just wastes everything in the game they come by except for Tengen, which is pretty annoying. But yeah, that's how it is really. Just showcasing the kind of loot I'm getting at this level, mostly because I wanted to show you guys I haven't seen anything above level 10. So I was really excited about the leveling legendaries, but if they kind of cap at level 10 anyway, I'm like, okay, then perhaps why? So what I wanted to do in this video is listen to some of the advice I have been getting in regards to Tengen, and that is to use the fighter. So I'm using up the dust I have here, about a lot, trying to level up my fighter relic to the point where the fighters can become at least close to useful for me. I have been focusing on the Dark Mage, and it has been working out like a charm. I've been using the Dark Mage with the merchants for Tengen so far, using Dronen to sleep or manage the monsters in the last 10 levels, get up and just spank him by reducing half of the health. And I figured, okay, let's try out the fighter stuff, because that is a recommendation I've been getting from I think 7 different people by now. Just use warriors in the warriors dimension. So okay, decided to try it out. Like I said, I don't have that much experience playing with the warriors because they have been... I think they suck, let's just be honest. And I didn't really see any reason to focus on them whatsoever. Read about their abilities, doing double or triple weapon damage. It's all good, it's a fixed amount of damage you can do, which is pretty nice. So I tried that this time. Prepare a group of fighters, give them the best mojo that I can in terms of dealing damage, and they need to survive with no healers. They do need to actually survive the trip to Tengen, meaning that even though they are buffed up, I figured that they would need some kind of armor, but also something that would allow them to deal damage. So what I did was I took some crit damage armor, because I really expected that to be what I needed, so that they would deal massive damage and not just their normal damage. So I went with the, not dragon armor, demon lord armor, photon blade, crazy pants, looking for shields that give a bonus as well. And yeah, it's a bit tough the first time you want to really play with the character to find out what should I go for. I really do like the dragon shield because it makes you immune to status effects. That means that I cannot get charmed and stuff on the way to Tengen. So I was like, what to pick really in terms of survivability. But yeah, I mean, dragon shield, I just don't really think you can get a much better legendary than that in the game. So that's really the pick that I ended with. And so what do you give these guys, like for trinkets? Do you give boost to physical attacks for the dragon blood? Do you go for survivability? Do you go for the shades? That's survivability. So yeah, as you can see, this is my setup. Not really that impressive because I haven't been focusing on melee that much. Trying to figure out a good play for the warriors. I'm very curious about what you guys are doing this with when you're using warriors, and what levels you have the different relics and stuff in. Obviously I have progressed a bit in the dungeon since I made this recording compilation here, but it doesn't mean that I'm not curious. I'm very curious because I'm actually still doing this with my mages and my merchants because it's working out better for me. But anyway, going in for my first jump here with them, and this here is like, oh, the animation time on this is a bit annoying. So I'm dealing 4,300 when I attack, and when I use the best ability, I'm dealing 2,600. So what this really tells me is that the warrior, the fighter hero powers are useless. I deal more than twice the damage when I'm not using the ability, and when I crit I deal even more. So the fighters in terms of using abilities is junk, like completely junk. So that is like the first thing that really bugs me a bit here, is that I need to manually control this, because as soon as I set it on autopilot, they decide to go use the abilities instead of the normal fighting. So that was the first bomber. The second thing here is that they just die. They just die because I don't have any crowd control, meaning that for this to be efficient I probably need to go with the dronen so that I can hope to sleep dudes instead of just one hit ganking them. And if I need to one hit gank them, what kind of power do I need in my offense? As you can see, my attack point here is really low, and I'm assuming that is where I need to put a lot of effort if I want to succeed with this. Sorry guys. The dronen still bugged, meaning that you need to use the level 1, which also means that you're going to be dealing a pretty low amount of damage because you don't have a high damage weapon. But I'm trying now to make a setup, same setup as before, but I'm going with the dronen this time to see if I can move through the 10 levels by using the sleep option for like crowd control, because I'm not dealing enough damage the way I have my relics right now to be able to just run through the entire place with the warriors. And obviously if I get an ambush, I'm dead. That's no different with the dark mage and the merchants. The ambush is really, if you don't have a knight, it's just bomber time. But so this here is the setup I have right now, and that's where I'm really curious about what are you guys running with, percentage wise, damage wise, to make this work. Obviously you are probably on a completely different level than I am, but just something for comparison would be really nice. Because if the real way to play this, or the most efficient way, is just to go with fighters, then it's silly that I'm going with dark mages, even though I really like them. But I've always been a wizard. Yeah. Plus, it's a female, so it's like a double win. But I'm dealing 5,000 when I'm hitting here, and I'm dealing like, I don't know, 38 or something crazy pains with my dark mages. So if I need to scoop the warriors all the way up there, it's gonna be a lot of essence, and I guess that's okay. But I'm really curious about, do you guys just run fighters? Is that the only thing you use when grinding, like I'm using just mages? Because it allows you to pass by Tengen without stopping. Like, can you just blaze through Tengen after Tengen after Tengen? Do you use dronens so that you make him fall asleep, or do you one turn gank him? That's really, like, stuff like that would be really cool. So if you have a video or just want to post a comment about it, that would be really crazy cool, amazing. But my second round here is going much better than the first one. The sleep is really allowing me to do the crowd control stuff so that I don't get like instantly killed by the trash mobs on the way to Tengen. And that is, I mean, dronen is just insane. It's really like the dronen and the dragon shield. Like, what do you want? Immune to effects, sleep or burn. Go away everything is what I'm thinking. Like, so crazy legendaries. None of the others really come close to being this amazing. I don't think they're broken. I just think the others need to be nudged up, really. Add some life stealing, add something really cool, because these are really cool. But once you have them, it's also like, okay, I don't need anything else. Kinda, that's the way I feel about it anyway. So, yeah, when the weapons don't proc and you don't get the sleep, this stuff here is what I end up with, and that's of course exit dungeon time. So I've been trying this a lot of times, but I haven't really done it yet with them. So I decided just to show, like you can see, this dude has 150,000 health. That's a lot of hits with a dronen. And this is how I normally do it. And what I wanted to do here was just show exactly how I passed Tengen here on 7700 without, like, because I don't go in and do it the first time. I can do him if I hit correctly with 2 of these. That is how much damage I can put into my Dark Mage. I have selected a build that has more survivability, meaning that the 38,000 here, I can do that. I can do 40, but I'm not. I have opted to put in the feathers for increased survivability, just to make it easier to get to him, really. But I can choose to go with the high damage build and just crush him instead. As you can see here, I'm doing 27,000 in my bad build. Also holding a Dronen instead of the wand that deals, I think it's 53% additional spell damage. And that is unfortunately the best item I have found for the spellcasters to use hand-wise, which is pretty crap. I'm not sure if you guys know of any legendary that you use that boost the damage even further. But as you can see, this is not something I just go in and I win the first time. That's not how it is. It's always something that takes a bit of a time for me, and that is why I'm very curious about the warrior setup. If it's like a guaranteed win every time, it's just cooler to be able to grind that way. It takes me, I think, 4 or 5 times on average with a build such as this, where I have survivability. Normally I go a little more risky so that I can kill him after 2 50% health reductions, but sometimes when I do that I actually die on the way to Tengen, and that is also pretty annoying. So yeah, that's this is just like a status update and a bit of info about how you guys do Dr. Float Around Pants here. So I think that was the last losing time. I had to go with Dr. Tengen this time around, because I do need 3 hits out of 4 at a 50%. 2 out of 4 is like what you can expect on a 50-50 out of 4, so you need just that tiny bit of luck to get the 3rd. Sometimes you're gonna get it the first time, sometimes you need to wait 7 times. It's not ideal, but it does work, and it has worked for me, yeah, as you can see, quite a few times already now. And the Warriors, it just hasn't been working for me, but I do hope that you guys want to share a little bit of the build and the relic upgrade amounts that you have for those guys to make it work. So that was pretty much just what I had in this video, just a small Tengen update with a bit of a question and failure attempts from me. So as always guys, thank you very much for watching.